Hi everyone, welcome to Korean Express YouTube channel. In Korean, the ending of a sentence can completely change how a question sounds. In the previous video, we learned the simplest way to ask questions in Korean language, just by changing the tone of the sentence. So, first of all, before you watch this video, if you haven't watched the first part of the series yet, in which we are learning how to ask questions in Korean, then make sure to watch it and learn the easiest way to ask questions in Korean. That is based on the tone of the sentence, the tone of the speaker. Now, in Korean, questions are not formed through tone alone. Okay, there are various other methods, ways to ask a question. Very often, Korean uses special or different various kinds of question endings. Endings that attach to the verb or the adjective and turn a normal sentence into a question. And these endings can make the question sound formal, polite, casual, curious, and more. So, in this lesson, we are going to explore 4 most common and general question endings in Korean language. Here's the list. We are going to go through each of the question ending one by one. So here comes the first question ending. This is one of the most formal ways to ask a question in Korean, and therefore it is commonly used in formal situations such as announcements or news reports or interviews and other formal settings. Okay, so remember, keep this in mind. One of the most formal way to ask a question is by using this question ending, simnika. Okay. Now, if you have learned conjugation in Korean language, you may already know the formal sentence ending, that is the simnida form, right? We all have learned Korean conjugation, I suppose. If still you don't know how to conjugate verbs and adjectives in Korean language, then I'll share the link of the playlist in which I explained conjugation of verbs and adjectives. So don't worry. But for now, remember that the formal sentence ending is this simnida format in Korean language. But here's something important. When you want to turn this formal sentence into a question, you cannot simply add a question mark at the end. Okay, this is the wrong format. Why I'm saying this? Because in the previous video, we learned that we don't have to make any change in the sentence, and just by adding a question mark in the end of the sentence and changing your tone can change the complete sentence into a question. But that does not work over here with the formal sentence ending. Okay, remember this. Instead, the ending itself changes. From simnida, it becomes simnika. Okay? Now, if the stem ends in a vowel, the stem of the verb or the adjective, if it ends in a vowel, then we add piet followed by nika. Okay? And if the stem ends in a consonant, we add simnika. Simple? So, if you want to ask a question in Korean in a formal way, you use this ending. Alright? So, again, simnika is a very formal and respectful question ending in Korean, and therefore it is commonly heard in formal situations, but in everyday conversations, Koreans usually prefer less formal or casual question endings. Okay, we are going to talk about such endings later in this video, but for now I want you to remember that you should not use this ending in your daily conversations in Korean language. This is only for formal situations. Okay? Now, to understand how to use this ending more clearly, let's take a look at some example sentences. So here comes the first one. Now, before we learn how to use this ending, here is a quick example from the previous video where we learned how to ask a question just by changing our tone. For example, you have to say, 김밥을 좋아해요. I like kimbap. Now, if you have to ask someone, do you like kimbap? You just simply need to change your tone. You have to make your tone a bit high-pitched in the end. 김밥을 좋아해요? Okay, this is how you have to ask a question without changing anything in the sentence, just by changing your tone. Okay, this is what we learned in the previous video. Now, if you are in a formal situation, what you're going to do? 김밥을 좋아합니다. I like kimbap. If you have to ask someone in a formal way, you will use the ending 씁니까 or 피읍 followed by 니까. 김밥을 좋아합니까? Do you like kimbap? Over here, because the stem ends in a vowel, we have used 피읍 followed by 니까. Alright? Now, here comes the next example. 어제 학교에 갔습니다. I went to school yesterday. Very simple. Now you have to ask someone. 어제 학교에 갔습니까? Did you go to school yesterday? See, this is so simple. You just need to use the correct question ending. Very simple. Next. 학생입니다. I'm a student. 학생입니까? Are you a student? Okay, so you just change the ending and the question is framed. Now, let's move ahead to those endings which are used in our daily lives while speaking Korean language. So here comes the ending ni. This is one of the most casual ways to ask a question in Korean. The ending ni, it is mainly used in casual speech between close friends or when speaking to someone younger than you or when you're having a very casual conversation with someone. Okay, then you prefer using ni. See, just now we learned one of the most formal ways to ask question. And now we are learning one of the most casual ways to ask a question in Korean. Okay, now to form this question ending, we usually replace the casual ending a or o with ni. Now let's take a look at the examples. So here comes the first example. 그 영화를 봤어. I saw that movie. Okay, this is a casual sentence because the ending is casual. Okay. Now, if you have to ask someone in a casual way, did you see that movie? 그 영화를 봤니? Did you get this? So you just replaced or with ni. Simple. Next. 배고파. I am hungry. We know the adjective to be hungry is 배고프다. Then after doing all the conjugation, we get 배고파 in present tense. So what you have to do, instead of conjugating in the present tense with a or o, you need to attach ni to the stem. What is the stem over here? 배고프. You remove tha, you are left with 배고프. Now if you have to ask, are you hungry? In very casual way, you are going to say 배고프니? Simple. Next. 매일 운동해. I exercise every day. To exercise is 운동하다. Right? The stem is 운동하. So you attach ni to the stem when you're asking someone, do you exercise every day? 매일 운동하니? Okay? So I hope you understand this because it's very easy once you remember the ending, once you remember how to use it. It's super simple. Alright? Next comes another very important question ending, 가요. Just like ni, this ending is also used to ask questions, but in a more polite way compared to ni. Why is that? Why does it sound softer and more polite? Because of the addition of yo in the end. This yo in the end, it makes this ending more polite and more soft, more formal than the ni ending. Okay? Both of them, they work in the same way when you're asking a direct question to someone. But the situation is different. Ni is used in casual situations and 가요 is used in less casual situations, I should say, or when you have to sound more polite. Remember? But it is still less formal than the simnika form. Please keep that in mind. Simnika is one of the most formal ways to ask a question. It is less formal than simnika, but more formal than ni. Okay? This question ending is commonly used with adjectives in the present tense and with ida. Ida, which means to be in Korean. Okay, so these are the two situations, I should say, or cases when we use this ending. So, if the stem ends in a vowel, we add nian followed by 가요. And if the stem ends in a consonant, we add 인가요. Okay? So this ending is used in more polite situations as compared to ni, and it is used commonly with adjectives in the present tense and with ida. Keep this in mind. It is very important. Alright? Now, let's take a look at the examples. 피곤하다. To be tired. Now you have to ask someone, are you tired? 피곤한가요? Here, the stem is 피곤하. This is an adjective in the present tense, 피곤하다. So, you have to attach nian followed by 가요 because the stem ends in a vowel. 피곤한가요? Are you tired? Okay? Next is the adjective 깊다. To be deep. 이 호수는 깊은가요? Is this lake deep? Here, the stem ends in a consonant. So we add 인가요 to the stem. Okay? You get this? Next example with ida. ida is to be. 그 사람이 의사인가요? Is that person a doctor? 의사인가요? 의사 is a doctor. 의사이다, to be a doctor. So after removing da, we are left with e, which is a vowel. So we attach nian followed by 가요. 의사인가요? Okay? Now comes another very important ending and the last one of this video, that is 나요. 나요 can be used at the end of a sentence to ask a question just like 가요. Okay, the ending that we have just seen right now. That is, this form, it usually sounds softer and more polite and more formal than ni, just like 가요, but it is less formal than the simnika form. Okay, so when you arrange all these question endings on the level of formality, simnika is of highest formality, then 가요 or 나요, they are kind of similar in the formality level, and then comes ni, which is very casual. Okay, so 나요 is used similarly to 가요 while asking a question. The difference lies over here. This question ending, it is commonly used with verbs in the present and past tense, with adjectives in the past tense, and with 있다 and 없다. Okay? So, in case of 가요, we just saw that it is used with adjectives in the present tense and with ida. In case of 나요, these are the three situations or cases where we use 나요 as a question ending. Okay, in case of verbs in the present past tense, in case of adjectives in the past tense, and in case with 있다 and 없다. Okay, when the sentence ends in 있다 or 없다. Alright, so now let's take a look at the examples. First one. This example we saw earlier in this video. I'm using it again for you to make a comparison. Okay, how we can use the same sentence with different question ending. Alright? 그 영화를 봤어요. I saw that movie. Now you have to ask someone. 그 영화를 봤나요? Did you see that movie? Okay, simply you attach 나요 to the verb ending. Here the verb is in the past tense. Okay, 보다 is the verb to see. It is conjugated in the past tense, and therefore we have attached the ending 나요. Alright? Next. 어제 엄마가 바빴어요. Mom was busy yesterday. 어제 엄마가 바빴나요? Was mom busy yesterday? Here, we have the adjective 바쁘다 to be busy in the past tense. Okay, and therefore we have used the ending 나요 with the adjective which is already conjugated in the past tense. 바빴나요? Alright? Next. 지금 학교에 있어요. I am at school right now. Here, you can see that the ending is using 있다. Alright? So, 지금 학교에 있나요? Are you at school right now? We have used the ending 나요 to frame the question. Alright? So, these are some of the most common and general question endings in Korean language. Korean actually has many other question endings as well, depending on different situations. Suppose you are talking to yourself, or suppose you are asking someone for any kind of confirmation regarding any situation, and there are many other specific situations and different nuances according to which there could be different question endings in Korean language. There are many. We have just talked about the most common and the general question endings. Okay? So, throughout this series, we'll continue exploring different ways to ask questions in Korean step by step. Okay? So, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe Korean Express YouTube channel. Thank you.